Iran vowing to retaliate after U.S. airstrikes take down the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani.
Here with her reaction is 2020 candidate and House Armed Services Committee member Tulsi Gabbard, who joins us right now from Manchester, New Hampshire. She's running for president. Tulsi, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Aloha.
Aloha indeed. We know that you were having a town hall there in New Hampshire last night when this news broke. What do you make of the president's order to take out Soleimani?
This was very clearly an act of war by this president without any kind of authorization or declaration of war from Congress, clearly violating the Constitution. It further escalates this tit for tat that's going on and on and on, will elicit a very serious response from Iran and pushing us deeper and deeper into this quagmire. And it really begs the question, for what? What are we trying to accomplish? What is the end state and the goal here? Look, I've said for a long time that going to war with Iran would make the war in Iraq and even in Afghanistan look like a picnic. It will be far more costly and devastating in American lives and in taxpayer dollars. And I don't believe the American people want to go to war with Iran. They understand how serious this is.
Congresswoman, how do you justify it when you look at the statistics? The State Department says 70% of all U.S. deaths in Iraq from 2003 to 2011 were orchestrated by Soleimani. I mean, when they attack our embassy, are we supposed to just stand by and let the Iranian-backed militias invade our territory and possibly kill Americans?
Yeah, no, look, there is no question about how evil this guy is. No one should shed a single tear for his death. But that's not really the question here. The real question is, what are we trying to accomplish here in this country, and where will this decision that this president made to escalate these tensions and this crisis and commit this act of war without congressional authorization, it will lead us to an outcome that actually further undermines our national security and needlessly sends more of our troops into harm's way. You know, Trump talked a lot in his campaign for the presidency, and even since he's been in office, about how he wants to end forever wars. But his actions tell a different story. Just since May of last year alone, May of 2019 alone, we've seen more than 15,000 U.S. troops, additional U.S. troops, being deployed across the Middle East. All of these actions pushing us closer and closer to this war with Iran. And this step that he just took last night seriously escalated the situation.
So when you look at their influence in Iran, when you look at in Syria, when you look at Iran's influence in Lebanon, when you look at Iran's influence in Iraq, when you look at their influence throughout the region, and now their pursuit, covert and overt, of a nuclear weapon, are you comfortable with us just pulling back and watching, just sitting in the stands and saying, pass the popcorn?
Yeah, no, I think we need to figure out why and how we've gotten to this point where Iran has a much greater level of influence and presence in Iraq and Syria, as you mentioned. It was because of our regime change wars in Iraq and Libya and Syria that we've seen these countries turn, Iraq and Syria especially, turn more towards Iran for help and for assistance, strengthening their partnerships and allowing for Iran to gain far greater influence and presence in many different respects in these countries. Mm-hmm. Really, the question that we need to ask ourselves now is, we have men and women in harm's way today in these countries, and what purpose are they serving? Originally, it was that they needed to go and to prevent another al-Qaeda insurgency, an attack and threat to the United States, to defeat these terrorists that attacked us on 9/11. That's the congressional authorization that our troops are there for. But really, what we're seeing now is that's not actually the case. Al-Qaeda is stronger, and it is becoming more clear that our troops are really there to fight against Iran. Once again, a war that Congress has not authorized. There has been no declaration of war against
I don't think
Iran,
we're looking
and I
to fight
think that's
against
a really
Iran.
important
I think
point.
that was a response to the rocketing
It
of
just
our base
happened.
and then the
It just
hitting
happened, though.
our embassy.
All right. Congresswoman, you mentioned Congress. Congress returns to work today. That's your other full-time job, in addition to running for president. You know, a lot of people are looking in at Nancy Pelosi and wondering what exactly is happening with impeachment. She still hasn't turned over the articles to the Senate, as is required by the Constitution. And now we hear that Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri, the senator there,
Missouri,
on Monday is going to essentially say, you know what, let's move to remove these because let's throw them out because the House is playing politics with this.
I haven't seen what Senator Hawley has done, but I will just say what I've said really all along is that this impeachment has only proven to further strengthen Trump. It's increasing the likelihood that it'll be harder for us to defeat him. It'll increase the likelihood that Republicans take the House and the Senate, which I don't think is a good thing for the country. I'm running for president, and I believe that we can remove him from office at the ballot box. We can defeat him at the election in 2020 so that we can bring people together in this country and actually bring about that positive change, usher in that new era of opportunity and respect and equality for all Americans. That's what I'm working towards.
Are you the? Go ahead.
What needs to be done? The Iowa caucus is in literally a month. I think it's February 3rd, right? So what needs to be
You're
done
right.
as a candidate to get the attention of the voters?
Just continue doing what we're doing. You know, we're reaching out and visiting with voters every single day across the early states and connecting with them. And what's really incredible and inspiring to me is that, you know, at our town hall last night and every single day, we have Democrats, Republicans, independents, and libertarians who are coming together and really putting country first, wanting to break this hyper-partisan gridlock in Washington that's standing in the way of progress, and recognizing, hey, we will agree to disagree on maybe a few issues or even maybe a lot of issues. But when we come together and stand together as Americans, rooted in our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, who we are as a country, then we can work together side by side and find that path forward towards that better and brighter future.
Exit question. Was the water off of New Hampshire colder than the water off of Hilo on the first day of this year?
Only slightly, only slightly. I have never experienced such cold in my life. It was a wonderful way to usher in the new year. I had a wetsuit on that day, and so it was just my face that was exposed that was cold. But the day before, just briefly, I want to share, I joined a family who have lost two of their, they lost their two oldest sons to the opioid crisis.
Yeah, that's definitely important. Thanks so much, Congressman Tulsi Gabbard. Appreciate it.
Thank you.